Hello and welcome to Smash Hit Sports. I'm your host, Cody, and we're here with Nick to break down week one. College football's here. It's beautiful. We had the appetizer last week. We get the full steak and potatoes this week. It's here. It's incredible. A phenomenal slate of games. And what I love about college football week one is we get Thursday night and we get Friday night and Saturday and Sunday and Monday. There are college football games on our television for 5 consecutive games. I'm erect just thinking about it. It's unbelievable. Holy shit, we are so back.
Yeah, we're literally so back. It's unbelievable. I feel like they haven't done this. Maybe I'm stupid, but like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday is sort of new, and it's amazing. Because again, the NFL hasn't started yet. We've been itching for football. And now we have 5 straight days. If you wanted to, you could vegetate, not get off your couch for 5 days in a row and be thoroughly entertained and not feel like you've wasted away your life, because football's football. Everyone understands when college football comes back on, you have every excuse in the world. Like, oh, you want to go out with your friends on Saturday? No, I'm actually going to stay and watch college football. They're like, yeah, makes sense. Maybe I'll come join you.
We get the 3-day weekend too. Bevies are going to be flowing.
Are flowing. You know? I can't wait. Again, there's a couple really interesting games that I'm excited to break down. But it is week one, so it's not like we're entering the thick of conference play. We don't have this incredible stacked schedule, but there are enough great games that I'm salivating at the mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get into week one, just week 0, I'm going to give a 2-sentence recap. Sam Hartman for Heisman, Irish are winning a national championship, and USC's defense still sucks. Did I get it right?
No. All right, my 2 sentences. San Jose's offense is really good.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
And, yeah, Notre Dame it looks amazing. Sam Hartman is exactly what us two expected him to be, but again, we talked about this, that was his moment to shine and show the world that he is a Heisman contender. Because again, Wake Forest didn't get that much media presence in his tenure there, so I'm very happy for Sam Hartman. But no, San Jose State, incredible offense, sleeper offense. USC did the best they could. They still have a good team. They're going to go 13-0. I stand by my prediction. They're winning it all.
I'm glad we made our college football playoff predictions before week 0.
Yeah, because now I have to stand by it. Not that I would have changed anything, but I did watch that with a little bit of, eeriness. I
mean, Caleb Williams did put up 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. So
yeah, this Zachariah Branch kid,
he's
true freshman, 18, to do that in your first ever college game is normally a really good sign. Normally that's a foolproof. It's not a fluke. He's going to be the real deal. So that's exciting. They have their Jordan Addison replacement.
Yeah, 100%. Let's get into these Thursday games. A couple Power 5 teams.
Real quick, Cody, how did we do in our predictions for the people that were tracking those?
So we did pretty good. Looking at the graphic, give me just one moment. I think you were actually more accurate than I was, sadly.
I think we only had one game different, and I think I got that one right, and you got it wrong.
Yeah, it was. The one game different is the UMass game. You had UMass, I had New Mexico, and you got that one. We
both missed on Ohio.
Yep, which their quarterback got hurt in the first half, got a concussion. He was out. That was the entire reason I took Ohio was because of their quarterback, and then he got hurt. Louisiana Tech won, but barely. Holy shit!
I know.
And then UTEP lost. So
yeah, so not bad. We'll have to keep that tally going. Maybe put up a little graphic during editing, which I could do. But all right, let's go on to Thursday. Take us away.
Yep. So Thursday has 2 games that I'm really keyed in on. There are a couple other Power 5 teams playing: Missouri, UCF, Wake Forest, but they don't play anybody really of note. NC State and UConn might be a decent game at UConn. But the biggest game on the slate, it's Florida at Utah. A rematch of what was an electric game last year. Anthony Richardson's, one of his most electric performances. He had the play where he spun out of the tackle in the end zone to throw it for, I believe it was a 2-point conversion to win the game or close to it. Just absolutely electric, and we get to run that back. But this year, without Cam Rising, he has been suspected not to play in this game, and with Graham Mertz, yeah. So, what are you looking forward to in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still very excited because it's 2 Power 5 teams playing literally the first big game of the college football season. It's gonna be like one of the most watched games of the season, I bet, just because of how antsy everyone is. We both are pretty down on Florida. I don't think, honestly, this is an exaggeration, but Cam Rising threw a pretty bad interception to lose them that game against Florida last year.
He did.
And, maybe he would have demons playing against Florida again, just, can't get that out of his head. So I actually don't think it's that bad that he's going to be missing this game. The spread also has dropped because of that.
Yeah.
So it makes me like Utah even more because I think Cam Rising being out, people are going to be betting Florida, tail. Don't fall for that. And just overall, yeah, I think Utah still has, one of the best coaches in the world and tons of talent over there. So I think they win pretty handily.
Yeah, I'm taking Utah as well. I don't know about handily. It should be a close game. The spread dropped down to 4.5. I don't have a play on it. I'm just going to watch this game and enjoy some, hopefully really good football.
Maybe like a 14 to 17 point game is my guess.
It's a low total, 44.5. A lot of defense going to be played in this one. Speaking of another defensive battle, the first conference game of the year in Nebraska at Minnesota. I'm excited for this one. We get to see, and more than anything, I'm not excited for the game itself. I'm excited to see Matt Rule for the first time back in college football. That's what I'm excited for. The Cornhuskers are a 7-point underdog. I'm gonna, I'll put a little money on the Cornhuskers here. I like Matt Rule. We'll see what Jeff Sims can do as a quarterback. That's the big question for me because they went from Casey Thompson last year, who he was a Heisman Trophy contender for one drive in week 0 against Northwestern, and then after that,
I remember that
absolutely
one, yeah.
not. But that one drive was sick. I'm interested to see what Jeff Sims can do with this, with the helm of this offense. It should be at least a decent start into some Big Ten play. This is Big Ten football at its
this is going to get us really prepared for the slugfest season we're going to experience in the Big Ten. I'm very familiar with Jeff Sims, obviously, just and his roots in the ACC, but I don't love him, and I don't know what to expect from this Nebraska team just because there's been so much turnover. But it's always interesting to me when we do all of our, research and predictions for the months leading up to the season, and the lines aren't out yet. So you're kind of just creating your own in your head. And when I created my own for this game, I was I think Nebraska is going to be a slight favorite. So to see them as a 7-point dog makes me think either I missed something about Minnesota because I don't think Minnesota is going to have that great of a year, or I'm not missing anything and I should be slamming Nebraska. And I'm going to do that because
absolutely, let's go.
that just is more fun. So I will be taking Nebraska money line. Again, and as far as just prediction's sake, yeah, I do think Nebraska's going to win, but I wouldn't be shocked either way. Again, that's week 1 for you. You don't know what you're going to get. So,
yeah, let's take a look at the Friday matchups. Friday is it's interesting. Stanford, Hawaii. We get a 11 p.m. kickoff on Friday, which is just Hawaii after dark. It's a beautiful thing. Start your weekend off right.
Hawaii
Central
at home. Right?
Yeah, at home on the Big Island. So
and we talked about this. Hawaii played Vandy better than I think you were hoping.
Yes, their quarterback looked good. Hawaii looked a lot better than I thought they were going to be. I'm going to be honest.
Or Vandy was bad. It's all how you spin it. But, yeah, I like Hawaii. I felt pretty good about that. And again, the storyline narrative we were talking about, we didn't want to touch that game last week because we were afraid maybe Hawaii was playing for something bigger. Mm-hmm. And I think they were, but now they get to play at home against a bad Stanford team. which would still be like a big Power 5 win for a team like Hawaii. That is on my list of favorite games of the week, 100%.
Really?
Oh yeah, I can't wait to watch that. Mostly just because like I want to see Hawaii win that game. Obviously, if Sanford's up like 28-3, I'm turning it off. But I'm going to take Hawaii 100%.
Hawaii's only a 3.5-point dog in that game.
Oh yeah, it should be a really good game.
It'll be a close matchup. So there's Central Michigan and Michigan State, which I love an inter-Michigan game just because there's so many football teams in the state of Michigan. But the other game seems to be a lot of shit talking on the internet.
Oh yeah,
Miami, Ohio against Miami, Florida. The battle for the true Miami. I don't know how many times this game has been played. It should be like an annual rivalry. I think that would be absolutely hilarious.
I think that'd be hilarious. Yeah.
That being said, Miami blows the goddamn brakes off this Miami of Ohio team. There's no way this game is close.
Yeah, it's like Miami, Ohio is playing mind games right now, which I love. It's like it's turning it into like reality TV a little bit, which is awesome. Again, I think Miami's like an 18-point favorite. Miami's clearly the better team. But adding the drama is it's like a good like business decision, or that game has become like must watch kind of,
Yep. And at 16.5, I'm taking the Hurricanes in that one for sure. 7:00 kickoff, so you get done with that game. There's also Louisville, Georgia Tech, which not exciting, but Jeff Brom at Louisville should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested in that one for sure. I like Georgia Tech, I think, in that one based on my research.
All right, so then we head into Saturday, and the Saturday slate has a ton of cupcake games, but there are a handful of either really compelling games from a story or narrative standpoint, and then there's just some goddamn good football games. Like, there are some really good football games. One game that's going to be compelling from a story standpoint is Colorado at TCU. This is Colorado, Deion Sanders' first game, Travis Hunter, Shadur Sanders. There is so much change in this Colorado program. And then you have TCU, who went undefeated in the regular season, lost in the Big 12 championship, beat Michigan, the Big 10 championship, the first round of the college football playoff, and then got their shit kicked in by the Bulldogs in the national championship game. This game is a 20.5-point spread. Are you dialed into this game? Will this be a game that you're watching?
Oh, 100%. This is just like we were just saying with Miami, Ohio, Miami. There is so much exterior noise that has been leading up to this game. I'm seeing Pac-12, executives and reps saying Colorado isn't going to get their first win until like week 6, right? They're like, Deion Sanders is going to have the rudest awakening of all time to coaching in the FBS. But then it's like, are they right? Or is that like aggressive hatred towards how much media, he's getting? The more I look at it, the more I'm like, damn, maybe I sprinkle on Colorado just because, like, I don't know. It really is a gut call. I think Shadur Sanders is really good, and people don't know much about him. Travis Hunter is really good. People don't know much about him. Like, they have a lot to prove. They have almost like a chip on their shoulder vibe. So yeah, I'm definitely excited.
I'm trying not to let my face betray me. If you don't watch the video version of the podcast, you absolutely should go subscribe to the YouTube. Subscribe. That being said, I think TCU blows the fucking doors off Colorado.
Yeah,
I think they beat them by like 4 touchdowns.
Everyone seems to think that, though.
There's too much hype, dude. They're like the 5th most bet team to win the national title.
Who?
Colorado.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's crazy. Yeah. That's got to be because they're like plus 10,000, right? So
I think they're like plus 20,000. But
people are probably throwing like $1. Like, you got to look at where the money is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have to see like what the public money comes out to that game, because if it's like 66% of the money on Colorado, then I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Or just fading the game. But I'll watch it for sure.
Absolutely. Another game that I find really compelling, there's not really a story behind this, but it's just good football, is Michael Penix and Washington at home against Boise State, which should be one of the best group of 5 teams in the country this season in the Mountain West. They're going to be a fun team to watch. This game is a 14-point spread. I will absolutely be tuned into this game. Like, there's no chance I don't watch it.
I'm a Boise State believer. I'm a Washington believer. And as far as storyline, I might be completely out of date here because I don't follow the coaching history and rotation of Washington football. But Chad Peterson, is he there in Washington still, or was that years ago that he left? Because I know he was Boise State's head coach, and then I believe went to Washington.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in the quick Google search.
Yeah, he might be he might have left in 2019 for all I know, but there's a little storyline there that but as far as two teams that I think are almost sleepers, I actually have both in New Year's Six Bowls at the end of the year. I have this as the only game that Boise State drops.
Wow.
Washington, yeah. I have Washington winning. They are at home. And I think their offense is just too electric. Washington could win by a decent amount, but it's the same thing. Oregon gets smoked and then still ends up having a great year. It's one of those week 1 things. So as far as gambling, I don't think I'm going to touch it, but definitely excited to watch it because I'm buying into both the teams.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not touching this game from a betting standpoint either, but must-watch TV. They're the same time slot as Notre Dame, but Notre Dame plays Tennessee State, so
pick and choose your battles there.
Yeah, I'll watch the first 2 touchdown drives and then keep it moving. College game day this week is North Carolina, South Carolina.
Love it.
I have one gripe about this game. Why is it neutral site? Why the hell are they playing this game neutral site? This game needs to be either in Columbia, South Carolina, or at Chapel Hill. I want to see these schools play at home. This neutral site bullshit sucks. No.
Yeah,
nope.
I'm with
you. Put it on campus.
They're playing in Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
And 2021, Georgia Clemson, my senior year, was in Charlotte. And it was still, I went to the game. We all went up there. The atmosphere was incredible. It was 10-3. It was a lame.
Yeah,
game.
I remember that game. It was insane.
Right. It was
matchup.
The game where it was DJU might actually suck the game. But it was still the energy was great. You have a more of a bar scene. People are chirping. So I don't hate that it's in Charlotte just because you're going to have a short drive down and up for these two schools. It would be a lot worse if it was Memphis versus Florida State in Charlotte, because then it's just going to be the locals kind of going and the diehards. But I think this should feel cool. Kind of you remember the Bristol game that was played at the NASCAR stadium in 2016? Yes. Virginia Tech, Tennessee.
Yep.
An hour drive for both teams.
Both schools.
And they played in this. And I went to that game, one of the coolest games ever, because it felt like a home game for both.
That's awesome.
So I'm not complaining about that from a neutral site standpoint in this regard.
Yeah, and this is a game that should be electric from a just fun standpoint. These teams are going to be unbelievably fun to watch. A ton of offense, very minimal defense. Yeah. You get Spencer Rattler and Drake May. It's interesting. South Carolina is actually the underdog in this game. I was surprised by that, but at the same time, not really. So I'm probably going to take South Carolina just because that was my season prediction. You get them at plus money, but this should be a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, I have South Carolina. I feel like when I made that prediction, when I had it in my head, I was I bet UNC will be favored just because Drake May, Heisman hope, all this shit.
Yep.
But yeah, I think South Carolina's coming into the season with a lot of confidence. And again, it should be both teams could get to the 40s, right? It could be 45-42 final score. It could be something crazy like that. So, but I'm going South Carolina in this one. And this, I'm glad Game Day picked this one because I can't wait for that like first real game day too.
Oh yeah.
And like I honestly wish I could go, but this is probably the game I'm most excited for on Saturday at least.
Yeah, game day was so sad last week when they're like, and that's game day. And now to our like presenting game, and it was high school football. It's just like, God damn it, dude.
No, like I didn't even bother watching because it was
that
just
was
like,
no.
I don't care about
depressing.
what they have to say about anything. It's not real. Week zero's not real.
Notre Dame one was pretty real.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Not real for USC's defense.
Fair. A group of 5 matchup that is going to be unbelievably fun is South Alabama at Tulane. This
game, dude.
I am high on both of these teams. Tulane obviously beat the piss out of USC in their bowl game last year. And South Alabama is no slouch. This should be, if you are into group of 5 football, this might be the best group of 5 game all year. Like it's going to be great.
Even if you're not into group of 5 football, this is
should
a game
be. That's a mistake.
Watch. Like this is a game everyone should watch or at least track or watch the highlights or just like stay on top of it. I think South Alabama is better in my opinion. I don't know what the line is. I didn't look.
6.5 is Tulane is the favorite. Okay.
Yeah. So that's as close as it should be probably. Because again, Tulane is coming off this dream season. And like everyone's like, oh, they're gonna like the thing is in college football, the same dream team or whatever that like makes a New Year's Six bowl from the group of 5, it never happens 2 years in a row. Cincinnati was in the playoff, and then they didn't do anything close to that the next year. Like I think this is just standard like hype that you get for teams like that at the beginning of the year. I love South Alabama. I think they are primed for almost having the same year Tulane did last year. So give me South Alabama all day. Can't wait to watch it. Definitely that's one that like if South Alabama gets blown out of the water, I'm gonna feel sad. Like I'm kind of emotionally invested in South Alabama beating Tulane. So
I love that. For the sake of the pick and for the sake of the graphic, I'm taking Tulane. I'm not going to bet on this one either way. I think Tulane might squeak it out, but just because it's at Tulane, they do play well at home. But damn, this is going to be a fun one. Like that's going to be a fun ass game to watch.
Yeah. Two teams that like could play Power 5 football. They could this year they could beat a bunch of teams. So.
Oh yeah. We get a couple other interesting games in week 1. Northern Iowa State's pretty fun. Ohio State and Indiana play, which is like going to be the saddest ass beating anybody's ever seen.
There's Tennessee, Virginia, I think.
Tennessee, Virginia, which that poor Virginia team.
Yeah, that should be fun for Tennessee fans and stuff. So.
Yep, they're just going to get the brakes blown off of them. Georgia doesn't play anybody, but they don't until November anyway. But the one other game that I do kind of have circled here is Coastal Carolina, UCLA, in what should be a very fun game. But UCLA finally announced their starting quarterback. It's not Dante Moore.
Yeah, which is surprising.
But this guy does have a little bit more college experience, has been in the system longer. He's not a true freshman, so we'll see how UCLA looks. We'll see how Coastal Carolina looks. Is Grayson McCall still at Coastal?
I don't think so. I could be wrong.
God, because I felt like he was there forever.
That's what I'm thinking.
He still is.
Okay.
He is still at Coastal. So you get Grayson McCall back in those teal uniforms. They are that's one of the best uniforms in college football. I'll say it. They're so goddamn sexy. But that's a game I'm going to watch for the vibes. Like that's a vibes game. That should be a lot of fun.
Is it late? It's probably like a
10 o'clock 10:15 kickoff.
10 o'clock game. So that's like,
yeah,
it's Saturday and things are, you're either going out, but if you're not, things are winding down.
14-point game. Like it's not like it's a pretty tight spread. I mean, it's not huge, but 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
spread.
no, it should be like, it's a real game. It's not like a game that's just like a washover. Yeah, anything could happen type game. And I do expect Dante Moore to come in at some point in that game just to get his, feet wet. So I'd be excited to see that, because I think both of us think UCLA is going to have they're kind of flying under the radar, might have a pretty good year. So I'm excited to watch them. Yeah. I think they win as well. I think they probably cover.
Yep, I have them winning and covering as well. It'll be interesting to see what that offense looks like without DTR, because Dorian Thompson-Robinson was there for like 4 years.
Yeah, and he's also playing some real good football in the preseason right now. That's
Deshaun Watson's backup. So
yeah, it's making me think that maybe DTR was like better than we all than we all like thought, and he was the offense or something. But again, it's a Chip Kelly offense, so I don't know. They shouldn't be bad.
Yeah, they will put up points, that's for damn sure. The Sunday slate has easily the best game of the weekend. Easily the best game of the weekend. And I'm talking Northwestern at Rutgers. And I know
I can't wait.
Dude, there are going to be people who get out of church Sunday morning and wake up and they're like, oh, yeah, like Northwestern, Rutgers. Yeah, we're going to watch Rutgers.
Big Ten football.
Jesus Christ. I pity the fool who has to watch that. I will be on a lake with a beer in my hand. But we get LSU Florida State. A game last year that was nothing short of stupendous. That game was absolutely electric. LSU choked it away at the end. I know, because I had $100 on the Tigers, and they let me down. They let me down.
I had a lot on Florida State, so that's funny.
I'm glad you enjoyed. I'm glad you enjoyed that, because I certainly did not. This game is being played at Camping World Stadium in Orlando, which, again, this should have been a home and home, but
where was it last year? Wasn't it like in New Orleans?
It's in the Superdome.
Yeah.
So which is way closer. Which is way closer to LSU than to Baton Rouge than Camping World Stadium.
Now they're playing like right near Tallahassee. So
yeah,
I guess that's kind of their thought process, was like neutral site, but it's closer to one school.
Yeah,
I didn't know that though. But yeah, I mean, this is like Jordan Travis made a throw in that game last year that blew my socks off. And made me like realize that Florida State might be back. And then now they're returning like tons of talent. They have so many transfers. And Travis is back, of course. And I think LSU is a bit overhyped. So I'm pumped, and I think Florida State gets the job done. I don't know what you think about it, but yeah, definitely pumped.
So I might contradict myself here a little bit. I had LSU winning this game in my preseason prediction, and I felt very confident about that. And the more that I read into this LSU team and how their offseason has gone and how camp has gone, and like apparently Jaden Daniels has been a little streaky in practice, and then whatever. It's all reports. At the same time, I can't get Florida State out of my head, man.
Yeah.
Like, I really kind of want to pick them.
Something dreamy about this Florida State team.
They're close, like it's closer to them, so it's a home game for them in all aspects. And I just don't trust Brian Kelly. This is classic Brian Kelly primetime game with all the expectations in the world. Preseason AP top 5, which they are not the 5th best team in the country. LSU is not the 5th best team in the country.
No.
How they are above a team like Clemson is beyond me. They shouldn't be, but that's beside the point. This should be an unbelievable game. I'm going to have money on it. I'm going to bet on Florida State just because I want to see the demise of Brian Kelly. And this is 100% biased me talking like salty ass Notre Dame fan, but God damn it, go Noles. I'll do the chop.
Yeah, I will never do the chop. But this is the Super Bowl of week 1, so it's
Yes.
It's like the only game that matters on Sunday. No offense, Northwestern. And it's like no one has work the next day. And there's no NFL, no preseason. And it's like the dog days of baseball. Like this is everyone's going to be watching. Everyone's going to be betting on it. It's going to be electric. Like you're going to get texts from people you haven't talked to in years. Like, oh, like what do you have? Like,
Yeah.
so I'm pumped, and so I've actually looked into this a good amount. And the game total was 47. It was 24-23 last year, so it ended at 47 total points.
Yep.
But the over-under has been raised to 58, which is probably above average for this week 1 slate. And I think, what do you think about that before I give my spiel? Because I think, go ahead.
Yeah, it's
Do you
one of
think
those
it's a
where
good
like
line, or
it's a good line. I just
31-28, they're saying?
Yeah, it's a good line. The thing is if Florida State wins, I think this game goes under the total because Florida State's defense is good. If the game goes over the total, I think LSU won, and I think like Malik Neighbors and like all that. There are a lot like two good sets of wide receivers in this matchup, but the defense, like Harold Perkins and Jared Verse, might be the two best pass rushers in this class, and we get to see them face off. Like that's going to be awesome to watch.
I think this is how I see it going, and it's nice because like these are two teams that like we're talking about, like Coastal Carolina and UCLA and teams I don't know much about. I know a lot about these teams, and I think that they're going to. Again, the pass rush is going to start early and often, and these two quarterbacks that are very similar to each other are the type of quarterback that I feel like need to warm up a little bit.
Yep.
Like as they get into the season, they aren't like fundamentally incredible like a Caleb Williams or something. They might make some mistakes here and there, and I think pass rush might get to them. And then the running game, I don't think it's going to be great. So I'm expecting like more 3-and-outs than we want to see, and the under to hit. But I'm just confused why the total was raised so much, which is why I wanted to touch on that. But
yeah, and I know that LSU is a defensive player that has been suspended for like illegal benefits or whatever, but that shouldn't have that much of an effect on the total. Because the line didn't move. So I don't know. It did shoot up, which is absolutely insane. I'll be staying away from the total from a betting perspective. I think the 55.5 is probably right where it needs to be.
Is it 55.5 now?
55.5 now.
Okay, because what I looked at like a couple days ago is 58. So it's going down.
Yeah,
which is good.
Come back down.
But that means sharps are all over the under. I kind of wish I'd put money on it earlier. But
yeah, when you saw it at that number.
I actually do think I'll probably touch it, and I'll probably go under. So
that's fair. And let's talk about. I mean, you got the hat on. We got to talk about the Clemson.
Yeah,
Tigers.
This is the big moment of the podcast.
It is the only game Monday, so we don't have any football all day Monday, which is a mistake. I understand that it's Labor Day and people don't want to work. That being said, having only one game on Monday is a mistake. There should be like a 5:30 game and an 8 o'clock game. Like that should be, and the 5:30 game doesn't need to be anything special, right? You could throw us Oregon State, San Jose State. That's fine, but give us a little something. I need a little something. But fire away.
Yeah. Well, so I think Clemson played the Labor Day game last year against Georgia Tech. It was like annoying because like, you're waiting so much for college football, but you're also waiting even more for your team, and then you watch everything, and it's like you have to.
Yeah, that does suck. That you were the last team to watch.
There's one game
self-play.
Sunday, you finally get there, and then Monday, I'll probably just try to hit the links, and then because like Georgia Tech, I went into it with knowing that I didn't like DJU and feeling like more worried about our offense in general, but I felt very confident in winning that game. Yeah. I like our team a lot more, but I'm less confident in winning the game. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Duke is just a significantly better opponent, and it's at
Duke's
their
a better
place.
team, and it's at Duke, right?
Yep.
So it's like I don't know. I can just see like the weekend winding down, and people are like, "Wow, what a great weekend! We have one more game. Clemson should smoke them." And then it ends up being like a really close game, and people are like, "What the fuck?" And I'm freaking out and crying. So I'm nervous, and I'm not going to touch it because I don't bet on your own team. And I'm just excited to watch it, and I hope to God that like Cade goes out in the Garrett Riley system and throws for 6 touchdowns, and it's amazing. But I did read that apparently Clemson's going to be running the ball more than throwing this year, which is like, I don't know if that's like a bluff or like why that report came out, but I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, and the spread on this game's 12.5. I'm staying away from it.
No way.
I'm not touching it. There is some scoring. I'm trying to find a player prop, and I'm sure it probably won't be released until closer to the game. But whatever. Who's your bat? Madafa? Who's your backup running back? Phil Maffa. I am going to take him to score. Duke's defensive front isn't great. They lack size, and I think Clemson's offensive line is just going to maul them. Shipley's going to be like minus 250 to score a touchdown. I'm going to stay. That's
yeah. No, I love that. Well, because I think you could take Maffa yards too. Because I'm guessing that's going to be in like the 40s, and his touchdown's going to be like +1 something. Yep. But I think he could easily get to like 100 yards if these rumors are true, especially. You could even take Cade Klubnik to rush in a touchdown. I can totally see that happening. I know it is a different offensive coordinator, but I just feel like for the entirety of my life, Clemson has had sneaky QB run plays in the red zone.
And Max Duggan ran a shit ton with Garrett Riley last year. So
yeah,
I don't think
it's the build for it, but like we were running like with Trevor Lawrence was running with Tony Elliott. I mean, obviously Deshaun and Taj Boyd, but like DJU would probably run like a 5.8 40-yard dash. And we had him running bootleg fucking QB design runs. Like he'd like do this jab step, slow ass juke move, and get like 3 yards. But he scored. He scored on the ground a good amount. So I can see Cade getting in there, using his legs too.
Yep, I don't hate that one bit. So let's go into some best bets. So that hits all of the games that I think are like big from a importance to college football standpoint, but there are games that I will be watching because I will have a stake in the game. I'm going to go with my most confident bet first, and that is the Texas Tech Red Raiders -14 against Wyoming.
Wow.
I believe you were high on this Texas Tech team as well, right?
No, I mean, not really. We talked about how a lot of people are too high on them, in my opinion, but I'm kind of neutral. Like I'm just like, oh, they're good.
Yeah. Well, they're a 14-point favorite to Wyoming at home. They will blow the brakes off of Wyoming. I will bet them at -14, and then I will probably bet an alternate line at like -20, -18. Like I will sneak in some alternate money there too. Yeah. I feel very, very confident in that one.
Yeah, I already threw in alternate money on Utah for tomorrow, just because when I was looking, it was -4.5.
Yep.
So I got him at like -7.5, I think, which I love. But that's not like my most confident bet. I would say that would be Purdue money line against Fresno State.
I like that. I like that Hudson Card.
Yeah, because I do think Hudson Card is like both teams lost their quarterback, but I think this is like it could be a trap, but it could be Vegas doesn't understand that Jake Haener like was good. Team.
Yeah.
And was amazing and all that. And Purdue's getting 3. Like it's a 3-point spread. Yep. So like by 1 point, so you can get like that field goal win range. And that's what I like the most. Or you could just take their money line. But yeah, that's what I like. I mean, again, I do have like a ton, so I could just rattle off some with like limited explanation if you want, but
give me just start firing them off.
Yeah, so Sam Houston State is now new to the FBS. They're +23 against BYU, a BYU team that I do not think is that good.
Keaton Slovis.
Who I don't really like. But I feel like, so Sam Houston, like they redshirted a ton of talent because they knew they were moving up. they have a decent pipeline because they're like in the southern Midwest and whatnot. Texas pipeline. New FBS teams will get undervalued because teams like UMass and Western Kentucky went winless when they moved up, but teams like Liberty, Georgia Southern, App State, South Alabama, UTSA, and JMU last year all did fantastic, right?
Yep.
Like, it's a new trend where these teams that aren't bowl eligible because of the stupid rule are actually playing well, and I think 23 is just too much, so I love that bet.
Yep.
Gardner-Webb, I think, covers the spread against App State because I think App State is way too much of a public darling, and they don't have that firepower anymore because they had like Chase Bryce and really good receiving core.
Lost their OC.
Yep, and App State's also 0-5 against the spread their last 5, and Gardner-Webb is 5-0 against the spread in their last 5.
Let's go.
JMU, I think, covers the spread against Bucknell. Louisiana Tech, I think, if you look at this, because they barely beat a terrible FIU team, right? Yep. I looked at the stats because I was like, damn, that's crazy. They outgained FIU 333-4 in passing yards. FIU had 4 passing yards. 447 to 180 in total yards. 28-8 in first downs. Ran twice as many plays. Like, it feels like it was just a couple hiccup plays that they had against FIU, but the defense looked really good for Louisiana Tech, and they figured it out. They outscored them well towards the end, and SMU's getting a ton of points because Louisiana Tech looks so bad, but I don't think they look that bad. So I like Louisiana Tech to maybe squeak a backdoor in there. NC State -14 versus UConn.
Yep. They're going to cover that spread. The UConn team is not. They were one of the worst bowl eligible teams last year, and NC State is not getting the respect it deserves.
What I have written down is this feels like the biggest trap of all time, but I can't not take NC State here. I'd feel like such a fool when the score ends up being 42-10, which is like when I close my eyes, that's the score. Houston against UTSA, which is honestly a game that maybe we could have touched on because UTSA is kind of a sleeper this year, and the spread's really close. I don't know if you have thoughts about that.
Yeah, I am taking UTSA in that one.
Yeah, UTSA is like -2.
I like to just take them on the money line.
I like Houston. If you can give me a plus money on Houston, I'll take it. I don't know if I'm actually going to touch it just because I do think it's going to be really close. But for the sake of like doing our graphic and whatnot, yeah, give me Houston. We talked about this, but I have South Alabama. We talked about this, but I have South Carolina.
Yep.
Cal is only -6 against North Texas.
Stop. No. We're on opposite sides on that one. There's no way you're betting Cal.
I am betting Cal.
No way you're betting Cal.
100%.
I'm betting North Texas money line, dude.
Nah.
Money line. It's at North Texas.
I don't think
they have an opportunity to jump a Power 5 team at home, one of the worst Power 5 teams in the country.
Yeah.
There's nothing exciting about the Cal program right now. Not one thing. Dude, give me North Tech. I'm betting +200. Little sprinkle. Give me the mean green.
Yeah, fair, I guess. I just think I don't know. I don't like North Texas's like offense or anything enough for me to be like, oh, they're gonna go out and just beat this Power 5 team. But maybe if Cal was playing a different team, like if it was Cal UTSA, well, UTSA would be favored by like 8, probably.
Yes,
but
by a decent amount.
I don't think it's a fluke that Cal is almost a touchdown favorite. I don't think North Texas is that good. And I don't know. I guess I don't have much positive things to say about Cal, but I saw a spread that low against a team I don't like, and it's a Power 5 team. I wrote it down.
That's fair.
Tennessee UVA, I like the over. The spread's 28. And the only reason I just don't want to touch spreads that big because of backdoor bullshit has bit me and probably bit you a bunch.
Yeah, if that spread starts with a 3 or if it's over 4 touchdowns, I ain't touching it.
Yeah, because like what I have, like I think the final score could be 52-17, which would hit the over, and I can so see that happening. But in that scenario, UVA, all they need is to drive and get a garbage time touchdown to fuck me out of my spread. I don't want that. And it's fun to bet the over. So I like that. Michigan State, I think I like them to cover minus 14.5 just because Central Michigan is not a good MAC team. They won 3 games last year.
They're
that's
not good.
just Michigan State is getting undervalued by everyone.
Yes.
In my opinion, even you, yes. I would say. But I think Michigan State will be far better than they're projected to be. So but again, 14.5, because that game could be 24-10 and domination for Michigan State. But I don't cover. I don't know yet. Liberty Bowling Green over because I really like Liberty. San Jose State to cover plus 16.5. That is just basically because DJU stinks, and I hope that he goes out and loses.
A spite bet for sure.
Yeah, it's a spite bet, and or just it'd be so fun to watch that happen and have money on it.
Yep.
And then Florida State money line, and those are my my favorites that I have written down, and the Florida State under. But
let's go.
Yeah.
You got a little bit larger of a card than I do. I don't have any games that I feel super, super strongly about outside of the ones that I talked about. So I feel good there. One bet that I do feel great as far as a total, I am hammering over 51.5 for Michigan. And they play East Carolina. They might hit that by themselves.
No, exactly.
They might hit that by themselves. So,
and I feel like a lot of these, I think I read it in the Doc Sportsbook. Shout out Doc Sportsbook. But there's an ongoing trend that week 1 in college football, the overs are crushing it because defenses can't, they just aren't ready.
They aren't used to hitting.
They're just not ready. And I haven't looked into last year, but I remember when I read it last year for 2021, it was something 70% of the overs hit in week 1. Yeah, it was crazy. So I was, I definitely have more over bets than I do under here this week.
Yep. Another bet that I might take, and this might be the only time I say this all year, I might take the over in the Iowa game too.
Wait, who do they play?
They play Utah State, and the total is just dumb low. It's 42.5.
What was the total of Iowa Kentucky in the bowl game last year?
Dude, it was 34.
No, I think it was 20, dude. I thought it was 20.
No, it was 34, 32, but it was still just disgustingly low.
Wait. It was disgustingly low. I really it was 31. It closed at.
Oh my god, dude, that's so gross.
What was the final score?
I don't know.
Hold on.
Kentucky football.
21-0. So the underbetters won.
I love that. When you get a total that low, you gotta bet it.
You bet the under.
You gotta bet it. You bet the under.
You to take the under.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm taking the over in this matchup. I think Iowa might get 42 by themselves.
42 might not be low enough.
Also, you got to think. You got to think they are going to run the score up on these lesser opponents because they have the contract clause that Brian Ferentz has to average 25 points a game. In order for him to hit his. Yeah, dude, there's a clause in his contract that essentially, because fans were clamoring for him to be fired, which it's the biggest case of nepotism maybe ever. He should have been
gone. The family business over in Iowa.
Yeah. John Rosteinism there.
Rostein.
That offense was terrible. So they put in a clause in his contract that he has bonuses and money riding on him averaging 25 points a game.
Yeah,
that's the number.
That's fascinating because how they're going to have to completely switch up their offensive strategy because
I don't think they'll switch it up a ton, but I do think that they will make a concerted effort to score points, even if they don't need to score points, if that makes sense.
They had a lot of drives with run play, punt.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be conservative this year.
They just probably won't do that anymore, or not as much. But yeah, so that's interesting. We'll have to write all this down, and create a graphic, and then touch back on it next week, which
Yeah. So we'll do how we're going to do the graphic. And this is a little behind the scenes here because we're just thinking out loud a little bit. Because we did every game last week. So I think from just an outright picks standpoint, there were 10 games on the list of like hey, these are important to college football games. So I think we make those as like our picks, like our 10, like, hey, we're picking winners here, and we'll do the best games each and every week. And then we'll also do our best bets. And I will make that as a separate graphic, and we will just see what our record is at the end of the season. So we'll start with week 1. I had a couple best bets week 0, but we didn't really talk about them a whole hell of a lot. I guess Ohio and USC, but yeah, we'll keep track of.
I don't know if I didn't actually put anything in on those either, though. You know what I mean? Like,
so we could just start from week 1.
I have a lot of my money already in.
Okay.
Right. Like,
so we could start on this. We'll run the graphics the day of, and then we'll keep track after. We'll do picks, and then we'll do bets, and we will keep those separate and a little contest. Yeah.
But nothing compared to the Vandy South Carolina contest where the winner goes to the Super Bowl.
I don't feel as good about that bet as I did.
Yes, which is great. But we'll have to see, because what if UNC, wins 100-0, and then it's like, oh, both of us don't feel very good.
If UNC holds South Carolina under 30, I will be impressed.
Right. Or I will be scared of that. Yeah, so we'll have to see. But we're here, guys. Literally, by the time you're listening to this, like, we're here. We've made it.
Yep, absolutely.
Unless you post this in the next 2 hours.
No, I mean, I'm going to try to get it out tonight. So.
Okay, but still, odds are you're listening tomorrow
to this on the day that college football is back.
On the day that college football is back, like, for real. So.
Yep. And because we're back, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow Nick and I on our social medias. He's at Nick During the Day. I'm at Smash Hit Sports. We have so much college football content out there, and it's just the beginning because the season is just getting started. Also, shout out to you, the listeners. And the reason it is shout out to you, the listeners, we crossed 200 subscribers on YouTube.
Let's go.
A tremendous W. I didn't think we would get there before the start of the season, and we did. And that is 100% thanks to you guys. So for those of you who subscribe and like our shit and comment and share, you are the best. If you don't do those things, start doing those things. And I will also tell you that you are the best.
We comment back. Cody always comments back on the YouTube.
Yes. I talk so much shit in the YouTube comments.
But I'm commenting back. I thought when you pointed at me you pointed and said you, I thought 100% you were like, shout out to you. And I was like, oh, word, what'd I do? But no,
word, sick.
Not me. Shout out you guys, the fans, the supporters.
Absolutely.
And let's try to get to 300. Yeah.
Absolutely. 300 by conference play. 300 by conference play. That should be easy.
Although conference play starts tomorrow with
real conference play. That's like week 3-4. We'll do by October.
By the end of September.
By October. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Good.
All right. Shout out, guys. We will see you in the next one.
Sign off.